Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 5 of The Greatest Attorney 2 Resolve. Last time, we got Menimemo up to the witness stand, and we cross-examined him, and now we are trying to corner him with his own fountain pen. So anyways, let's get going.
This pen was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murdered victim was gripping it in her hand as she died. She wanted to write a memo saying F you.
What are you?
If you look at the barrel of the pen, you'll notice that its owner's initials are engraved there. As you can see, CzarThwomp's sense of speech is completely gone. RM. Yes, thank you for bringing that up, counsel. The initials of the accused, Ray Mamambi. Is it a coincidence, I wonder? That your initials are also RM? No! Rayton Menimemo, RM.
That's horse dung! Can't you see? One of the central tenets of Menimemoism is being a pencil user, with no eraser. I live on the edge.
And yet, as the court will clearly be able to see, on your right hand, there is a very obvious blue ink stain.
It would appear that you must have rather carelessly left it somewhere recently. Your favorite fountain pen, that is.
Oz, horsey horse dung!
Menimemo-san, is it not the case that that before she died, you met with Jezaille Brett in the beach hut?
Objection!
Why should we listen to this absurd nonsense? It's nothing but another big excuse.
Exactly. Sure, you news will stand behind me all the way. I deny everything. There must be as many people with the initials RM as there are stars in the night sky.
The defense has neither the time nor inclination to count every single star in the sky. And there's no need anyways, because this pen has more to tell. Yes, there's another clue. A clue that undeniably proves who its owner really is.
In that case, counsel, the defense will now show the court where this alleged clue lies.
Of course, Your Excellency. The clue on this fountain pen that clearly reveals its owner identity is...
Okay, the symbol on the back. Come on. I want to get square on the center. Because watch how I'm 2 pixels off and it counts as false. It says, oh, you're bullcrap. You clicked the side of the pen even though you were clicking on the center. You were off by those 2 pixels.
As well as the initials, there is also an emblem on this fountain pen. An emblem that you will, of course, recognize, Menimemo-san.
Goodness me, it's the emblem of the Shoyu News.
In other words, the owner of this pen is an employee of the Shoyu News, whose initials are RM. Suddenly, the stars in the night sky don't seem so numerous, do they? Well, Menimemo-san, how do you respond?
No!
Order! Explain yourself, witness.
Ha! So, this is how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using coercive tactics to have well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets.
I've used nothing but honest tactics.
Alright then, fedora tip time! I won't try to hide it anymore. Yes, not long before that grim tragedy unfolded. I, a Shoyu News reporter on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the Englishwoman.
An interview? You never mentioned this before! What did my queen tell you? What was her favorite color? I need to know these secrets! When exactly was this?
As I said, it was before that evil little student girl showed her face in the hut. It couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes. That's all. It was just a brief exchange. But it came to nothing, as we Menimemoists say, the people don't pay their dues for unworthy news. I swear I would not be surprised if Lada, Hart, Sparks, Brussel, and Nicole Swift, they all have that phrase just engraved upon a plaque and they have it just hanging, and they have that plaque below a giant framed portrait of Menimemo just standing triumphantly.
However insignificant you deem it to be, the court cannot overlook the meeting between yourself and the victim. You will testify now under oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired.
Got it, yes, alright, but on one condition.
Condition?
In all good conscience, I couldn't speak out alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witness, Soseki Natsume-san.
Soseki-san.
Oh yes, according to my notes here, that man has a secret of his own, and brace yourselves. Because it's not a harmless one, it's big.
What? What?
Menimemoism states that one man's secret is every other man's front page story.
Very well, I will grant the witness's request in this instance. Officer, summon the earlier witness back to the stand.
Soseki-san, hiding something.
Yes, you know that Soseki's gonna come out. I did those bodies that were buried in the sand that were found just recently. I had nothing to do with them. If anything, they are at fault, for they had challenged me at night. They startled me. I had no choice but to attack to defend myself. I asked the English woman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss. Then, watching secretly from the outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witness come running. The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why Menimemoism demands that I reveal it now.
You mean to say the victim?
The victim regained consciousness?
Oh, well,
And when she did, you decided to ask her a question?
that's, true, yes. He did, and that's not all. The woman gave him a very definite answer. An answer that incriminates the accused.
This is preposterous! Why am I only hearing about this now? Why didn't you mention this before, you yokel hack?
It wasn't even a conversation! Yes, I did pose the withering English Rose a question. I don't deny it. But she could no longer speak. She was barely conscious even.
Counsel for the defense, I expect a thorough cross-examination to be conducted here. This court must and will know the truth.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. The reporter is claiming that Miss Brett implicated Ray somehow. What on earth could have happened in that hut?
Cross-examination time. The witness's secret. I asked the English woman for an interview, but she declined. So I left off. Yeah, okay, we already heard that. Secretly being stabbed by the other witness. Realized the victim still had a pulse. Ran off to fetch help. Let's press this. We must know the question.
What question? What exactly did he say?
Well now, you should hear that from the horse's mouth, I think. Don't you, Mr. Riderman? Ah!
Out with it, you yokel hack! What did you hear her say? What did you say to the dying English woman? What did you say to my queen?
Well, in truth, I'd been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the sand, you see. Well, the sandcastle is a place to be at leisure. Well, the seaside is a place to be at leisure, I suppose, even for a grown man.
But then all of a sudden, from that little beach hut, a young girl's panic-stricken cries for help pierced the air.
Ray.
I ran up to the beach hut to see what was happening, to find the defense leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hosonaga saw Miss Brown on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. Or I think he went off to get a shovel. I don't know. He said something about finishing the job. I was kind of scared. I didn't ask anything about it, but I don't know. And then
then, just a moment later, I heard a faint moan. A moan from the dang English woman. I nearly jumped out of my skin!
But what did you ask her, Soseki-san?
I asked her, who did this to you? Don't protract this any longer. How did the woman respond? She didn't! She said nothing in response! But... When in the stand, you will answer the questions asked of you unambiguously. Now, without evasion or reticence, I demand that you amend your testimony. I will!
Okay, I just want to see some things. Okay. Nothing. Murder weapon. Okay. Let's press this one.
So you tried to find out who the culprit was?
He was who you asked the question is a fool for a minute. Who does not remains a fool forever. And having been labeled a criminal twice during my time in Great Britain, I was quick to make up my mind. Better to be a fool for a minute than remain a fool in prison forever.
However, you have indicated that the victim failed to respond. Is that correct?
I know why. I know why the Englishwoman said nothing. She was ignoring me because of my stupid mustache, because I'm jumping news. I knew it! I knew something like this would happen! Hosanaka warned me about this! He said that he sent these very same warnings to me on his subreddit! And then Menimemo was telling me and supporting this! I denied them! But then it came true!
Oh dear, Soseki-san has really developed a dislike for the English, it seems. Oh no, and he's also developing Hosanaga's incel tactics.
Having read the report on his time in Great Britain, I can't say I'm surprised at his xenophobia.
But the Englishwoman didn't ignore you at all. Did she, Mr. Writer Man?
Well, yes, all right. She did respond in a matter of speaking, I suppose. She just lifted her trembling finger and pointed in the direction of the defendant.
Hold it! Miss Brett pointed a finger at the defendant. Soseki-san, is that really true?
It's not easy to stand here and say this, but when we first entered the beach hut, the Englishwoman was sprawled on the floor before us with the student girl standing on the far side of her. And when I asked, who did this to you? The Englishwoman summoned her last ounce of strength and pointed a trembling finger at the back of the hut. Which was, it can't be denied, in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today.
No!
Soseki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony? But! Fiddlesticks, I say! This is not British court of law. You will respond in Japanese. Yes, of course, the Englishwoman did point her finger towards the back of the hut, but I was trembling, and she was trembling, and I was scared, and everything was a blur. And think about it, I feel as though perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no, not slightly, in a very different direction to where the student girl was standing. To somewhere at the back of the hut where nobody was standing at all.
You mean that your memory of events and the direction of which the victim was pointing are both unclear?
Yes, that's it. Unclear. I'm very, very unclear.
Your Excellency, surely this proves the matter beyond all reasonable doubt. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious, and yes, perhaps her finger wavered slightly. But she is my queen, and I will take her word until the day I die. I would raid the gates of hell over her. But there can be no doubt that this was an attempt by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Because, as the court can see, there was no one other than the accused in the direction the victim was pointing. It is now abundantly clear that no one besides the accused could possibly have committed this crime.
I am inclined to agree. And in the absence of any credible argument to the contrary, I believe we can now conclude this trial.
No! No!
Ha ha ha! The headline's writing itself. Gnashing lawyers hope stashed. 92 across the whole page. We'll do an extra edition.
This is a very serious blow, Sasato. Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substantiate our claim with evidence, the judge will give his ruling, and the trial will be over.
But that's impossible, Father. We don't even know how the crime was committed yet.
Impossible though the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back to everything we've learned thus far. Somewhere in all those details, I'm confident we'll find the clue we need.
Ray gave us her account of how events unfolded in the defendant's antechamber before the trial resumed. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed.
The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back.
How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back in a beach hut that was empty but for herself and Ray? Somewhere amid all this information we gathered so far, there must be an answer to the question.
I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add.
So, the gallant Yoko student's luck finally runs out. I can't say I'm surprised.
In that case, I am ready to deliver my final verdict on the matter.
This is such a crucial turning point now. Now, if I can't establish what really happened, it's over. Where was the real culprit hiding? And how did he or she stab the victim?
We know how, because Menimemo was standing outside the hut and basically was able to snap that picture. We have the photo as proof, so we can use the photo.
Your Excellency, I respectfully ask for you to postpone your adjudication for the time being.
Oh, to what end, counsel?
The defense would like to present the court with an alternative theory. An alternate theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture.
Objection!
An alternate theory? Ha! None exists!
Objection!
There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime. What? And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time by mustering all her remaining strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction. This is fiction!
Very well, as you seem so sure of yourself, counsel, I prepare to hear your alternative theory. So, young Ryotaro Naruto,
Yes, Your Excellency?
you will present your latest theory to the court by means of this plan. At the moment the victim was stabbed, where exactly are you proposing the culprit was concealed?
Basically, outside the hut.
The true culprit was in this area here.
There, counsel?
That's right, Your Excellency. I believe that the culprit was hiding in the location I've implicated.
Why?
Oh, well, that's rather hard to say.
I'm trying to point the back of the hut.
Clearly this particular theory needs no further consideration. Give your wide open look.
Oh dear, I chose poorly.
I suggest you begin by considering where the victim was in the moments leading up to her death.
Yes, of course.
Perhaps you'd care to identify a more credible location, counsel. You will present,
Yes. Okay, yeah, sorry, I was getting the door mixed up with the window. Okay,
Take that!
there we go.
Naruto-san would never give up, and I'm a Naruto now. The true culprit who really stabbed Miss Brett was concealed in this location here.
Are you mad, counsel? You're suggesting the culprit was outside the hut.
What?
Order!
Put the student lawyer Naruto-san Esquire! That makes no sense at all! You've just pointed out the exact spot where I was standing to get my scoop snap. But I didn't see any suspicious individuals looking around. I can swear to that.
Obviously, if the culprit had been outside the hut, there's no way that he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut. Actually, Prosecutor Ouchie, there is a way.
Ah!
And in point And in point fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting that is precisely the way Miss Brett was killed. You're bluffing! You're bluffing! You yokel!
The defense's observation is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. You will need to give us more guidance, counsel. What piece of evidence correlates to your theory that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut?
Okay. Let's do this. Incriminating photograph.
Well, I presented it now. But I haven't the fairest idea of why I chose this piece of evidence.
Because it shows that Menimemo could have stabbed?
Counsel, you're suggesting that this piece of evidence...
Okay, it's something of a windfall, Your Excellency. I think the word you're looking for, Counsel, was downfall.
If your theory is correct and the knife was thrust into Miss Brett's back from the outside the hut, there should be a visible trace somewhere.
A trace, yes, on the hut itself. I'm with that idea. I must look through the court record again.
Your Excellency, the defense would like to... Okay, present different evidence. Let's see what we have. Okay. Okay. My guess is that's the... I don't think it's the newspaper. Fountain pen. Poison article. Incriminating crime photo. Might as well just check out the knife.
Ah yes, this must be the victim's blood.
Oh dear, blood is never a pretty sight, is it? I'm gonna have to fight urges to run under a hot tap to get it clean.
You've always been fastidious about cleanliness, haven't you?
I think this is something else, Father.
Okay, nothing there. Beach hut plans. Crime scene photograph.
The original photograph reprinted the crime scene.
Yes, it's clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from the outside the beach hut.
Objection!
Do you take us for fools? There's no hint of such a thing! I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone, at least, appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to.
Counsel, once again, I must call on you to be explicit to the court. Where on this photograph is the trace of the stabbing, which you claim took place from outside the hut?
Okay. Boom.
Look closely just here. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effects of a blade having been forced through the reeds. No, I can't see any such thing. It's true that the hut in question had 4 walls as you'd expect. However, by parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them.
This is extraordinary.
Yes. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut. Oh! And of everyone present at the scene, there is only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. Right, Menimemoism, it could only have been you.
No!
Objection!
This preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at the photograph again. The victim lies almost exactly in the center of the beach hut, does she not? Are we to assume, as part of this farcical scenario, that the assailant was a knife thrower?
Objection!
No, of course not. He is not a magician. We're not! If you recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death...
Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable.
A stool? Have another look at this photograph. The slit in the reed screen would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on the stool.
My word. So in fact, the victim was...
Killed while sitting on that stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the reed screen. Ah! Having been attacked, Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively, but then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut. Before the defendant, Menimemoisam's appalled eyes. And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day. By your silence, Menimemo-san. I take it that you don't deny the charge? This is absurd!
That will do. It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this matter, which means that the defendant, Menimemoisam, is innocent of the crime.
Oh, thank goodness. I finally made him cave.
I must say, I've never been more proud.
No, this can't be! The Ouchie clan can't! What of my growth? My growth of hope! It wasn't all an aberration! I can't accept this! I won't!
I see no reason for the continuation of this trial.
And for me, the continuation of this episode, because I think now would be a good time to end things off. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you can come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever they want. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.